Hey guys, so we're back here with part two of this video intended to get us through the Articles of Confederation and how the nation went from desiring one kind of government to desiring another. One of the big questions we have in class is this overarching question, this need to understand how the government that the states needed was different than the kind of government that they wanted. And so in order to do that, we have to kind of pursue and study why they created the Articles in the first place, and how it failed. Because we know that we do not follow the Articles of Confederation today. We have Constitution 2.0, and if you need a gist about how that came about, how that all started, go back to watch part one. Today I want to focus on the successes of the Articles, because it wasn't just a big failure. It wasn't just a total catastrophic failure. I mean, for real, the Articles of Confederation were drafted right away when we declared independence. By 1781, all the states had signed it, and later in 1781, we defeated the British at the final battle at Yorktown. Right. So under the Articles of Confederation, this unified set of sovereign and independent states came together and defeated the British. We won the war. We successfully negotiated the Treaty of Paris that was finalized in 1783. And so clearly there's a success there. All right, so it's good. Also, the idea of when the British recognized our independence, the British gave up land far more than what the states currently had in existence. Right? It gave us all the land that extended to as far west as the Mississippi River, and we can see that here. This line over here, this is the Mississippi River. Okay, so this Northwest Territory is a chunk of land that had a big set of debates about it, because all the states wanted this land in this Northwest Territory, north and west of the Ohio River. Okay, and so I'm going to use this term Northwest Territory. What I'm referring to is this chunk of land that's zoomed in on here. Right? So in 1785, Congress passed the land ordinance. All the states agreed that land states needed to cede or give up these land claims in this Northwest Territory. And so we could see how Massachusetts gave up this chunk of land, Connecticut gave up this chunk of land, this was given up by Connecticut, and then this down here was given up by Virginia. All this was claimed by a number of states. And so they had to give it up in order for Congress to claim it as part of this federal entity that wasn't really a federal government, that but was recognized as being over in all the states. Right? So they ceded these northwestern land claims, and then in 1787, it was determined that we're going to govern these in a specific way, and the goal was to create new states. Right? Was to allow for growth of new states into this union. And so the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 went even further and outlawed slavery in these Northwest Territories. And so out of the states that were going to be created out of this land, no slavery could be admitted there. And that was a really big stretch. But in 1787, the idea of what slavery was and what slavery was going to become was very different than what it was even 10 years later in 1795, 97. Something happens in 1795 that makes a huge shift in how people started to view slavery.
Great success.
All right, great success. High five. The Northwest Ordinance was widely regarded as the most successful piece of legislation passed by the Confederation Congress. And it wasn't just one law, it was two. It was the Land Ordinance of 1785 and the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. These two things come together and create a really important piece of legislation, and we've covered those in class in pretty good detail. And so that's good success, right? But okay, let's shift gears into the problems. The problems with the Articles are significant. One, not just a bad economy, but an economy that is unable to be influenced at all by Congress. Because there's no funding, there's this lack of funds, Congress has no ability to provide a currency that is standard or provide a currency that holds its value. And so states are left with trying to figure out this on their own, because the states have money, some, right? But even as it is, the state money that is floating around is being infiltrated by too many dollar bills, causing significant and gross inflation, and so the value of the dollar drops. So from August 1786 to February of 1787, this thing called Shays' Rebellion. Again, we've studied this in pretty good detail. or will have, depending on when you're watching this video, in really good detail. But basically, here's the gist, right? Farmers in western Massachusetts, in this western part of the state, this region, they are trying to make ends meet. However, they have significant problems, right? They're in debt. Farmers incur mortgages. Farmers incur debt. They take loans out on seed. They take loans out on equipment, and so on. They also have to pay the same taxes that everybody else in Massachusetts is paying, and the taxes, by and large, are property taxes, land taxes. And who owns more land? Farmers do. And so there's an unfair, an excessively heavy burden that farmers feel that is being placed on them. They can't pay their taxes. They can't pay off their loans, and so they continue to go into debt to creditors. And so farmers are experiencing the same lack of funds that everybody else is experiencing, shortage. And so the money that they have, with the very little money they have, is being weighed down and made worthless by excessive inflation. So we have this dispute between debtors and creditors. Western Massachusetts farmers who are in debt, and they are in debt to their creditors, who are Boston merchants. And guess who runs the government in the East? Boston merchants do, right? See, these debtors want debt relief. They want money that holds its value, and they don't want foreclosures, right? It's a big thing that is a forever issue, right? Foreclosures, debt relief is something that we've always striven to make better and easier, not to save people from their bad decisions, but to give an opportunity for people to have a way out. Creditors want their money payable in a hard currency, but again, there isn't any. And legislature, again, in Massachusetts is dominated by creditors. And so this wealthy elite is making decisions that are stacked against the farmers. And that is truly a very bad situation. And so creditors are cracking down, right? Judges are ruling to take away farmers' land in order to sell that for to repay their debts. Judges are ruling that the people who are in debt have to go to debtor's prison. Judges are ruling that they have to land has to be auctioned off, right? And all this is negative to farmers. And so Shays' rebellion really only has one outcome, right? Panic, freak out, right? That's the idea. When things go wrong and things are hard, rebellion is the term of that generation. Okay, and so what comes of it is what we're going to get to in our next segment. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. But what comes of it from our founding fathers, that we will call, is this elite consensus, right? The Madison, the Jefferson, the Washington, the Hamilton, the Adams, right? They all agree we need more government. Not because we needed more control, but government needs to be there to secure the rights of the citizens. And so I'm going to pause here. I'm going to shut this video down, and I'm going to save part 3, this last part, for what comes of it.